Have you ever witnessed someone who's been quiet and withdrawn suddenly become calm, lucid, and full of peace, saying their heartfelt goodbyes and then passing shortly after? Hospice workers call this phenomenon the rally. This is known as a mysterious moment when the human spirit seems to prepare for its final journey. Today we're exploring 5 profound spiritual and emotional changes that often appear in life's final year. By the end, you'll discover the one subtle sign that almost always appears before a loved one passes. And understanding it could change the way you experience life, death, and everything in between. My dear friend's grandmother, a woman whose light had been dimming for months under the weight of illness, had been silent for nearly a week. The family gathered, their hearts heavy with the quiet anticipation of goodbye. They spoke in hushed tones, holding her hand while waiting. Then, one Tuesday morning, something shifted. The lady's eyes opened and sparkled with a clarity no one had seen in years. She sat up, asked for a cup of tea with honey, and began to tell stories. She remembered the name of her third-grade teacher. She remembered the scent of the lilacs by her childhood home. She recalled the exact words her husband had said when he proposed. It was a miracle. A final, beautiful rally. For 3 glorious days, she was fully present, a radiant beacon of her former self. Laughter filled the room, when the room was once filled with sorrow. She held each grandchild, looking deep into their eyes while offering words of profound love and wisdom. It was as if the clouds had parted for one last burst of brilliant sunshine. This phenomenon, also called terminal lucidity, is more than just a medical mystery. It is a spiritual event. It is a moment where the soul, preparing for its great journey, seems to rise above the body's limitations to offer a final, powerful gift of connection and closure. It is a sacred pause, a note of divine grace, before the final symphony concludes. The journey toward the end of life is not just a physical process, it is a profound spiritual pilgrimage. In my years of listening to people share their most intimate stories, I've heard again and again about a series of sacred shifts that can occur in the final year or months of life. These are not signs of illness, but signs of the soul preparing itself. They are whispers from a place beyond our everyday understanding, inviting us to pay closer attention, to listen more deeply, and to love more fully. We are talking about the soul's work, the final chapter in the story of a lifetime, written in a language of spirit and emotion. Today we are going to explore 5 of these mystical changes. Think of them as a spiritual map for a journey we will all one day take. These shifts are the unburdening of the spirit, the thinning of the veil, the deepening of connection, the search for meaning and reconciliation, and finally, the surrender into peace. Each one is a step on a sacred path, a movement of the soul as it prepares to transition from this world to the next. Understanding these shifts can help us navigate this tender time with more grace, compassion, and a sense of shared humanity. It's about recognizing the spiritual work being done. This is not a checklist. The first sacred shift is often a powerful need to unburden the spirit. Imagine carrying a heavy suitcase your entire life, filled with old regrets, unspoken resentments, and secret sorrows. In the final year, many feel an overwhelming urge to finally set that suitcase down. This is a time of deep emotional and spiritual cleansing. It can manifest as a desire to tell old stories, to confess long-held secrets, or to clear up misunderstandings from decades ago. I once heard from a woman whose father, quiet his whole life, suddenly spoke of a business mistake 40 years prior, a secret he had carried in silence, and peace finally transpired after speaking this aloud. This unburdening is a universal human need, recognized across all faiths. In the Christian tradition, for example, it's akin to confession. In Buddhism, it's the release of attachments and karmic baggage. It's the soul's instinct to travel light. A hospice nurse shared that patients often ask for estranged loved ones. They aren't looking for drama. They are looking for peace. They are mending the frayed edges of their life's tapestry to make things right for their own spirit. This can confuse families. It can feel like dwelling on pain, but what they are truly doing is healing. They are liberating themselves from emotional weight. Our role is not to judge, but to listen with an open heart, to be a safe harbor for their words, to say, "I hear you. Thank you for telling me." This simple presence validates their life. Unburdening is courageous self-love, the soul's final house cleaning. What burdens are you still carrying? If you had 1 year to live, what would you tell to feel free? The second sacred shift is one that can feel both beautiful and unsettling. It is the thinning of awareness by seeing this world and the next. As people draw closer, the boundary between worlds becomes porous, more transparent. They may speak of seeing or sensing loved ones who have passed on. A mother might say she had a lovely chat with her own mother who died 20 years ago. A husband might reach out to a wife he senses driving home to him. These experiences are not necessarily confusion or delirium. From a spiritual lens, they are glimpses into another dimension. Many indigenous cultures believe ancestors come to guide the soul home. Celtic spirituality speaks of thin places where one foot is in this world and one in the next. We may want to orient them back by responding negatively. "No, Grandpa, Mom isn't here." But that may invalidate a comforting experience. Instead, practice compassionate curiosity. Perhaps reply with, "Oh, what did she say? How does she look?" Join them in their reality. Perhaps this thinning is the soul's homecoming call. It is a sign of being lovingly guided. Love transcends death. Bonds endure beyond sight. It challenges 5 sense limits, asking us to consider more. If you could speak with a loved one who has passed, what wisdom would you seek? Answer in the comments below. As the external world begins to fade, an internal world of profound connection blossoms. This is the third sacred shift, a deepening of connection to what truly matters. Extraneous worries, what the neighbors think, the stock market, daily irritations, all fall away. What remains is the pure, unfiltered essence of love. Small talk fades. Questions arise such as, "Are you happy? Did you accomplish your dreams? What is the purpose of your life?" A silent touch says more than an hour of words. It's a return to simple, profound truths. In final months, many gain a final mind, clarity born of limited time. To them, a bird may sound like a symphony, a strawberry seems to be a miracle, and a loved one's hand seems to hold the whole universe. These realizations teach us to appreciate the now. Connection widens, to nature, to spirituality, to inner truth. One man asked to see the sunset every day. He spoke little, but radiated peace. Drinking the last drops of beauty, connecting with the divine through witnessing is something he once rushed past. This abrupt shift asks us to put devices away, to be present, to hear the silence. These moments of little wonders matter, reminding us of how well we loved and were loved. Who do you need to connect with more deeply right now? As life's timeline shortens, the search for meaning intensifies. This is the fourth sacred shift. People begin a life review, telling stories, sometimes repeating them, not from memory loss, but to polish the past, seeking how pieces fit. Did my life matter? Did I make a difference? Was I a good person? This quest is a cornerstone of most religions, distilling experiences into wisdom. Painful chapters are reinterpreted as catalysts for growth. Failures become turning points. Grace within struggle. Reconciliation follows, different from confession. It is making peace with the whole story, forgiving oneself for not being perfect, accepting a life actually lived. For example, a mother makes peace with never becoming the artist she once dreamed of being. She now sees her artistry in her garden, in raising her children, in the love she gave. In reconciling her dreams with reality, she uncovers a deeper peace. During these conversations, listen, ask and reflect meaning. Try replying without judgment. "I remember when you did that. You were so brave. You taught me so much about kindness." We help our loved ones sculpt their life's beautiful summary. Then, we may step back and evaluate our journey. What story are you telling yourself? Is it one of meaning and purpose? The final sacred shift is perhaps the most profound, the surrender into peace. Their eyes may soften, their breathing slows, and a serene clarity radiates from within, like a soul finally letting go of its earthly tether. In that surrender, there is acceptance without resignation, a profound peace that transcends pain. After unburdening, visions, connecting, meaning-making, there comes stillness. A quiet letting go. The struggle ceases, the fear subsides. This isn't giving up, it's giving over. Surrender to a greater current, the soul at rest, poised to transition. The final exhales after a life lived well. This surrender appears as a deep calm, less talking, more sleeping, withdrawal from the outside world. Not rejection, an inner turning, a gathering of spiritual energy. This can be hardest for families. It feels like their loved one is slipping away. We want to pull them back, but we must honor their inner work. Sit in the quiet, hold their hand, let your calm be your message. It's okay, we will be all right. You can go when you are ready. The ultimate permission, a selfless gift of love. True courage is often letting go by trusting the universe and the natural order. What burdens are you clinging to that must be released to find peace? The journey through life's final chapter, marked by these 5 sacred shifts, the unburdening, the thinning veil, the deep connection, the search for meaning, and the final surrender, is among the holiest experiences we can witness. Key reminders. These signs don't mean death is immediate. Timelines vary. They signal an emotional and spiritual transition that deserves respect. Every person's journey is unique. Not everyone will show all these signs. Respond with love, patience, and presence, not panic. Listen more than you speak. Allow your loved one to lead this final chapter. These sacred moments are gifts. Honor them. So, what is the subtle sign that almost always appears before a loved one passes? A gentle withdrawal into deep inner stillness. Less speaking, more resting, a quiet gathering of the spirit. When you see it, offer presence, not pressure. If you've witnessed these signs in a loved one, share your story in the comments. Your experience may bring comfort to someone walking this path right now. They create a community of compassion and understanding. Recognizing these changes doesn't make goodbyes easier, but it helps us walk alongside those we love with grace, understandings, and peace. And sometimes, that's the greatest gift we can offer.